Welcome to the channel, people. Today I have 3 fall inspired wood DIYs for you, and we're going to start off by using this 1x1 and clamping one down into our saw. You can purchase these for 98 cents a linear foot at Home Depot, or grab it out of your scrapwood pile like I did. I cut these down into various sizes, and in case you want to cut them the exact sizes I did, I made 2 at about 4.5 inches, 2 at about 5.5, and the center one is the largest at 6 inches. You can paint these whatever colors you want. I'm using a white, a light blue, a dark brown, which I'm using the Antique Waverly Wax for, and then I'm leaving the very center one just a neutral. I am taking this little extra piece that I had spare laying around in a pile somewhere and putting a little bit of Antique Waverly Wax on that because that's going to be our stem. And to rustic the pieces up, I am just sanding them down with a 80 grit piece of sandpaper. Then it's time to assemble our piece. Now there are several ways you can connect these to get a good bond. I am going to go the easiest route and just toss some wood glue in between these joints, staple it on the back, and clamp them together for a few hours. I do recommend, if you're new to this and you're not fuzzy inside with your dry times with your wood glue, leave it 24 hours just to be safe before you go messing with it. I am super gentle when I do anything with these if I'm only going to come back 3 to 4 hours, but you also have to keep in mind I'm filming it for you. So I only have so many days that I can actually work on these and editing and doing the voiceovers. So I have a light hand after 3 to 4 hours, but some pieces I just don't trust, and I still will less at 24 hours when I'm filming. And next we're going to bring in our stapler and make sure, because here I almost said it again, make sure that this sucker is facing the right way before you go stapling your pieces together. And remember, at this point, even if you're stapling from the back, your piece is going to fold down like an accordion from the front if you do not clamp these together and let that wood glue dry. I've had people say, because they have not seen me hammer it in, but you can see some of the nails don't go straight through. I do try to show you guys all the struggles on a regular basis, but sometimes, because I have so many struggles and things happen all the time, shit happens, right? I have to cut some pieces out, but it does happen to me just like with this. So I just take a hammer and I just hammer them suckers on down and you're good to go. Once your piece is dry, how you choose to decorate is completely up to you. This is the main concept. Here is the little leftover bits that I had hanging out that I thought would make an adorable stem. And I'm taking some wood glue and some hot glue for an immediate bond to attach to the wood. And if I'm being completely honest, there were 4 little stems initially, and it looked a little funny because it was hanging off too much on the center piece here. So I ripped that one off and just going to use the 3. This was still hanging over a little bit, so just to cover that up, as well as I plan on doing this to begin with, I'm taking some of this raffia. Who loves messing with raffia? Because I don't. I hate it. It's a mess. It's everywhere all the time, and then when you cut it, it's, you know, it's a hot mess. Anyhow, I'm just wrapping this around here and creating a little bow, and I do go in with some glue to make sure that this is going to stay on here and it's not going to pop back off, because without the glue it is not going to stay here. And I'm not using hot glue for that, I'm using tacky glue for that. And I'm also using tacky glue to apply our little button on the center of our little bow. Isn't it just so super cute? I can't even handle it. I thought this was just super adorable. And then I'm taking one of these leather leaves from Dollar Tree and wrapping it around the top of our stem, and just love how this piece turned out. What do you guys think? For this little scarecrow head we're about to build, I'm taking this 4x4 that's seen better days. So When I was learning to cut wood, I made mistakes, people, and this was just tossed and forgotten about in the rubble. Okay, we all got to start somewhere. But today it's going to become a scarecrow, and you can pick up these 4x4s to cut down at Home Depot for $9.88, and it's 6 foot long. And various craft stores also have cubes you could do this with. I'm taking these two colors to blend to get our scarecrow pasty color-ish, because to me it's more like a yellowy old looking color. That's what a scarecrow looks like to me. And then I'm sanding it down to prep for us to be able to paint and draw on the wood. If you are not good at drawing or sketching, get yourself some stickers. You can go to any craft store and buy stickers that are like a face. This is nothing special. I'm just taking a pencil and I'm just kind of etching out what I want to put on here. And then I'm just going to go in with a Sharpie and a little bit of paint and fill the pieces in. That's it. And this is usually the part where I would just skip to showing you guys the face, but I have been getting a lot of comments lately where people want me to go into more details with things. I am going to start having a tutorial series coming on the channel where we will be doing more things like that, doing wood, decoupage, little details that I do not sit and etch out in every single DIY video, because as most of you know, you got to keep retention up in YouTube, and I got to keep the videos flowing and going, but these are going to be a little bit more detailed and drawn out. And I thought, let's start with just leaving all the details of drawing in our little scarecrow face, so this way you guys know exactly how I did the entire process. To create our cap, I wanted to use something different, so I picked this up at Dollar Tree. It is just a table runner, and I'm going to use the very end piece here. It's kind of already like a cone, and you can cut the strip that is down at the end, and it still holds its little cone shape. I'm leaving the back kind of long and fraying around the edges just so it looks, you know, older. And we want to hide the back of the block because it's kind of jagged. I mean, I could have sanded it down, but I'm being a little lazy where that's concerned, and nobody's going to see it anyway. And to attach everything, I'm going to use tacky glue. It is honestly my favorite thing to use as a medium when I'm doing any type of fabric. It works. To give our cap, the inside, a little floof, I'm taking some extra fabric and I'm just stapling it on down to give us a little meat in there. And I'm kind of just wiggling our little cone piece around and seeing what works. I did not want this right on the top. I don't want to make it look like a witch's hat. I wanted it to be off to the side and short and wonky. That is the look I was going for. And once I got that into place, I also stapled that down. Between the staples and the tacky glue, this should not go anywhere. I'm going to use these ribbon bits for our scarecrow, like a little, I don't know, wrap around the bottom here. It was not easy. Them staples were in there. So I finished pulling them off camera, and I'm taking some raffia and shoving it down into our tacky glue, cutting the pieces up, and then more staples, adding more staples. So this way our pieces don't go flying anywhere. At the moment I'm creating this, I'm creating it to resell it because I do own a vendor space and fall's coming, and I also have a website, so I do sell pieces there. I was not sure where I wanted to end up, but I knew I wanted to just make sure that I built this little piece so it wasn't going to fall apart wherever it landed if I was keeping it or someone purchased it. And to make sure that happened, tacky glue and staples are always great ideas when you're using fabrics and woods. And I put little buttons over the staples. Look how cute they are. This little piece is absolutely stunning. I love this. What do you guys think of the little scarecrow? For this decoupaged wood piece, we're going to need a 1x10 piece of wood for this, and I'm only cutting a couple inches off. I want the length more so than the height, and I did take a little bit of sandpaper and nip the edges around the front of our piece. For anybody that wants to know the actual length, it is 3 inches tall. And really you just want to cut it so your little wood slice, we're using an owl, fits on there perfectly. I stained this with Antique Waverly wax. I saved you that, you're welcome. And then we're going to decoupage our napkin onto our little wood slice. You can use a leaf for this, whatever wood slice you want to put on this, it is entirely up to you. You could also use regular paper if you want. I just wanted to use the napkin, and this little happy fall, y'all, fit right in there perfectly, so I was super excited to get this going. When you're decoupaging a napkin, you want to make sure you get all your extra layers off and just use the top sheet of your napkin, and then you want to make sure that you apply less is more. I always say this with a napkin. Don't overdo the Mod Podge. It will easily break your napkin, and I love going in with a sponge and applying pressure gently in our small sections that we're doing the Mod Podge. It just works out well for me. It gives me the most flawless finish that I can get without having to do the iron-on method. If you want absolutely no creases, iron-on method is the best. Once your piece completely dries, go around, and if you want to use your burn methods, you go right ahead. I am not always trying to burn my house down, so I like to sand off my pieces. To create a little bit of a depth with our owl from the wood piece, I am tracing around the edges with a little bit of white paint, and then I'm going in with Mod Podge to seal it completely off. I get asked often if I do this, and yes, I do. I always go over my decoupage with another layer just to be safe, to make sure that our napkin is protected. And I can't stress enough, make sure that your napkin is completely dry before you do this part, because if you go in before it is dry, it is possible you can oversaturate the napkin and it will end up ripping while you're trying to seal it. And that's going to be it for this video, people. I hope you enjoyed these fall projects. I simply love every single one of these. I cannot pick a favorite today. If you're looking for more fall inspiration, just stay tuned until the end of the video. I will link another fall video there for you. As always, thank you all so much for hanging out with me today, and until next time.